I've saved up quite a bit.
I grin mischievously, looking at my phone screen. My name's Karen. I'm 29, a second-year married woman juggling a part-time job and homemaking. Even when my coworkers call me creepy, I can't wipe the grin off my face. That's because I'm finally getting close to saving enough money to buy my dream home. The bank balance on my phone screen is just shy of the target. My husband, Matt, and I don't have kids after marrying through an office romance. We've always planned to wait until after buying our home to have children. Honestly, I would have enjoyed my single life a little longer, but Matt, being older and in his mid-30s, insisted on getting married when I was 27. Although we worked in different departments, being in the same office as my husband felt awkward. Still, changing jobs would definitely mean a pay cut. So, I had been enduring and working, and we were just one step away from buying our home.
It's been a long road.
I thought. Matt and I had no major issues. My job was going well, and our savings were on track, with an ordinary marriage, a steady job, and a modest home purchase. Continuing such an ordinary life. That was what I considered the ultimate happiness. However, life wasn't so kind as to let everything go smoothly forever. For me, the most challenging part was dealing with my in-laws. That had been the biggest issue in our marriage. After finishing work, I returned to our small rental apartment. It was a bit cramped for 2 people, but it was manageable until we had saved enough for our home. When I opened the front door and saw the coat hanging on the rack, my fatigue instantly multiplied. She is here again today. I had a deep sigh in my mind.
Hello.
Oh, hi. You're late, aren't you?
The voice that responded wasn't my husband, Matt. That was my mother-in-law, June, sitting heavily on the couch in our cramped apartment.
Good evening, June.
Do you always come home at this hour?
Her house was just a half-hour drive away, which wasn't far, but a little close. That's why June frequently visited our place without much consideration for the distance.
Coming home this late. What about Matt's dinner?
It was always like that. She never offered a kind word for my long workday, and her comments were always complaints.
In fact, my work ran late today. I'll get it ready right away.
Matt's been home for ages. Aren't you a little inefficient, Karen?
Sure, we worked at the same company, but Matt's department was entirely different from mine. His job didn't require overtime, but instead his pay was low. My department served as the company's cornerstone, managing essential projects that required working extra hours. In return, my salary was the highest in the company. It would be better if Matt explained that on behalf of me, but his pride always got in the way, and he never said anything. Even then, he was silently sipping coffee. Honestly, since we were both working, Matt could at least help with some of the housework. However, he was adamantly opposed to doing anything, like laundry, buying groceries, cleaning, and making meals. When I got home, he was either watching TV or glued to his phone. Unaware of that, June continued making snide remarks.
Don't bother. Matt and I already had dinner ages ago.
Really? You've already eaten?
Yes, we enjoyed dinner at a fancy restaurant downtown. I treated Matt to something nice for a change.
I see.
The mention of the restaurant's name made me almost jump. That was a high-end place. I was shocked, but if June paid for that, there wasn't much I could say. I headed to the kitchen to prepare my own dinner. Then, June stopped me.
Karen, sorry to trouble you, but could I ask a favor?
A bad feeling crept over me.
This month's been tight, so could you help me out with a little money?
Oh, I knew that. June often asked for money like that, but that was just ridiculous.
You just went to a high-end place, didn't you? And wasn't it just last month that you said you were struggling and asked for money? Even though I was in the same boat, you pulled out the crocodile tears, and I ended up giving you $300, remember? I did the same the month before that, and the month before that too. Are you the one who is inefficient?
I wanted to say that, but I swallowed the words and forced a strange smile.
I'm afraid we're struggling this month too.
You won't help us when we are in trouble. What a cold-hearted daughter-in-law.
Which one of us was cold-hearted there? I'd say your son was far colder, without lifting a finger to help around the house, and going out to eat without his wife. At that moment, Matt finally opened his mouth.
Karen, you are so stingy. Mom's struggling, you know. You should help her out a bit.
Oh my. I'm telling you, we're struggling this month too.
Man, take this, Mom. I'll help you out.
Matt sighed as he pulled out his wallet and handed June as much as $500.
Wow, Matt. You're such a kind and wonderful son. I'm so proud of you. On the contrary, Karen is.
June glared at me, leaving me speechless, and walked toward the front door. Just when I thought she was leaving and felt a bit of relief, she turned back and gave me another sharp look.
Matt, if you ever want to divorce that wife who's draining your paycheck, you can always come back home, okay?
Yeah, I'll think about it.
With that, June slammed the door shut as she left.
What the hell was that?
I turned around, and there was Matt, lying on the couch with his phone in hand. I couldn't hold back anymore and confronted him.
Why did you give her as much as $500? If you have that kind of money, put it toward the household budget.
I had a reason for saying that. Matt paid for the rent, but that was all he contributed. Utilities, internet, groceries, and miscellaneous expenses, all of that fell on me. That was because Matt simply refused to pay.
What are you talking about? I pay the rent, right? And now you want more? What a greedy woman.
Matt shot back.
I'm covering everything else. Even the phone bill for the one in your hand.
Well, that's only fair since you earn more than me.
Only slightly more. Between living expenses and saving, there's barely anything left.
Oh yeah? You can still afford to save? Then you're fine. Hand it over.
After hearing me mention savings, Matt responded and he extended his hand.
What's that hand for?
I gave Mom $500, so I'm out of cash. Give me some spending money.
Are you kidding me? Absolutely not.
Even though he kept his entire paycheck except for the rent, Matt always complained he didn't have enough. He said it was for entertaining clients or networking, and I reluctantly gave him money in the past, but not this time.
If I give you money, it's no different than giving it to your mom. Why should I have to pay for what you guys ate at a fancy restaurant?
Come on, it's just being a good son.
He said smugly.
What about me? What am I supposed to do?
Neither June nor Matt ever expressed gratitude. It was just me losing money over and over.
Besides, what was that? Saying you'd think about divorce.
Exactly what it sounds like. If you keep being stingy, I'll have to consider my options.
With that, Matt stormed off to the bedroom and deliberately locked the door behind him. In our small apartment with only a few rooms, I had no choice but to sleep on the couch. Amid those stressful days, my only solace was checking the balance of my bank account. After dealing with June's snide remarks and demands for money, I opened my phone at work before starting overtime. I logged into the savings account I had maintained since my single days.
Oh, I'm so close to finally getting our house.
I thought, but my eyes froze on the screen.
What's going on?
I jumped to my feet, made a quick word with my boss, and rushed home.
Matt, are you there?
Whoa, what's going on? You're home early today.
Matt said, wide-eyed. In front of him was an array of dishes that were clearly from a high-end restaurant. Moreover, he wasn't alone.
Hi, Karen.
We're just stopping by.
In the living room, I found not only June but my father-in-law Greg. What could they possibly want?
What's going on here?
You see, we're about to have dishes from my favorite high-end restaurant. Want some?
Are you serious? Where did you get the money for this?
Oh, we had a little windfall, you know.
A windfall. What are you talking about?
I pressed Matt, and he and his parents shrank back, clearly uncomfortable. Not letting him off the hook, I grabbed Matt by the collar. He seemed to give in and handed me something. That was the bank card for the account I had just checked online. I snatched that and logged into my account to check the transaction. As I read the transaction details, I was speechless.
What in the world is this? How did you even withdraw this money?
Well, I guessed your PIN and it worked.
It worked? Are you serious? How dare you withdraw my money without permission?
The money I had painstakingly saved since my single days had all been withdrawn. Matt admitted that shamelessly, smirking as if it were no big deal.
Calm down. We're married, right? What's yours is mine.
You've got to be kidding me. This money was hard-earned and saved before I even met you. Give it back.
Come on, Karen. What's yours is Matt's. It's only natural.
Honestly, saving up that much money while Matt is supporting you? You're a selfish woman.
Exactly. You should be thanking me. Who do you think keeps this household running?
Unbelievably, not a single person in the room was on my side.
Don't be ridiculous. You stole my money. Give me the money back.
Stole your money? Who's the one being ridiculous here?
Matt snapped, clearly taken aback by my accusation of theft.
Have you forgotten I'm the one paying the rent here? Besides, I have work expenses, social obligations, and I even help my parents.
That's right. Matt is such a dutiful son.
Meanwhile, you've been saving up all this money while leaving the rent to me. Must be nice to live so comfortably.
You barely pay anything except rent. Those work expenses you claim hardly exist, and you still demand money from me.
Enough. You're my wife. You're supposed to listen to me and my parents without complaint.
Excuse me.
You're lucky I haven't divorced you yet, you ungrateful woman.
Yelling, Matt grabbed my arm and dragged me to the door.
Hey. What are you doing?
You're not getting any food. Go cool your head outside.
I couldn't believe he ever threw me out. I stood there in a daze for a while, but ultimately decided to spend the night at a hotel. The following day, when I returned home, Matt was the only one there.
Thank goodness his parents were gone.
I thought, but then he silently thrust some papers in front of my face. Those were divorce papers. Matt's portion was already filled out, quite thoroughly.
What's this?
Listen up. If you complain to me again, we're divorcing on the spot. If you don't want a divorce, you'll shut up and do as you are told. I'll also be managing all the savings going forward.
With that, he waved the bank card mockingly before heading toward the door.
Where are you going?
Out for drinks. Got a problem with that? You want a divorce?
He smirked and walked out. What an idiot. Did he really think threatening me with divorce would make me obey him? By then, I had no love left for him at all. Besides, as for that bank account he was so proud of, did he really think there was still money left? I had long since withdrawn every last cent and moved that to another account. I've always been cautious about keeping large sums in one place, so I have several accounts. The one Matt had gotten his hands on was just one of them. I picked up the divorce papers he had so generously left behind and filled out my portion. What a fool! Leaving behind the signed divorce papers wasn't a threat. On the contrary, that was exactly what I had been hoping for. With the papers in hand, I quickly packed my belongings and left the house. After spending another night at the hotel, I took the day off work and submitted the divorce papers the moment the courthouse opened. Next, I headed straight to a real estate agency. The night before, while scrolling on my phone in the hotel, I had come across a property that caught my eye. A newly built house close to downtown and convenient for commuting. That was almost love at first sight. The exterior and interior matched my ideal quite perfectly. After viewing the house, I made the decision to buy that on the spot. What followed was a whirlwind of activity. Since living in a hotel until the move would be too expensive, I explained my situation to a friend and stayed at their place while preparing for my new home. I had to buy furniture one by one and take care of various procedures. That left me so busy that I completely forgot about Matt and his parents.
Hey, Karen.
One day after a few months, Matt barged into my department. I was so startled to see him because I even forgot that we worked at the same company. As he loudly called my name, all my coworkers turned to look at us. However, Matt didn't seem to care and stormed over to me.
Why the hell haven't you been answering my calls?
Oh. I just didn't feel like it.
I replied nonchalantly. Come to think of it, Matt had been blowing up my phone. As I was busy and honestly couldn't be bothered, I ignored him.
You withdrew money from the account without permission, didn't you? What the hell? Why haven't you come back home? Are you seriously trying to push me into a divorce?
Oh, don't worry. We're already divorced. As for that money, it's mine, so I'll do whatever I want with it.
He was still thinking the word divorce was an effective threat. Seeing my casual response, his face went slack with disbelief. What's with that ridiculous expression? It's hilarious.
Are you serious? Already divorced? You?
Matt, you went to the trouble of preparing it for me. I was more than happy to submit it.
What? I don't accept this.
It doesn't matter if you accept it or not. The divorce is finalized. I've also informed the company and completed the paperwork. You might have some procedures to take care of, so you should report it to your boss.
I turned my gaze back to my computer, signaling that the conversation was over. I was just busy.
Divorce is finalized? Where are you even living now? You left your stuff at the house.
I took what I needed, so I'm fine. I've bought new things and am living quite comfortably.
I'm asking you where you are.
That's none of your concern. This is a matter of privacy, so I'd appreciate it if a stranger didn't pry into my life.
At that, Matt fell silent. Unable to bear the stares of my boss and coworkers, Matt left without another word.
Karen, you've had it rough.
One of my coworkers sympathized with me. Despite various unpleasant experiences, the comfort of living in my own home remained unmatched. The scent of a brand new house was incomparable, and the spaciousness was liberating and relaxing. However, having just moved in, I still lacked many essentials. I was expecting some appliances I had ordered online to be delivered on that day. Just then, the doorbell rang.
There they are.
I thought as I opened the door. However, I immediately regretted that. I cursed myself for not checking the peephole first. Standing on the other side of the door was
June.
Surprisingly, my former mother-in-law was standing there. Behind her was Greg, and further back was Matt.
It's been a while, Karen. We're coming in.
Wait a minute.
Ignoring my attempt to stop her, June barged into the house, strutting around and scrutinizing every corner like she was appraising the place.
This is a nice property. Oh, these pieces of furniture are great. Move them to my room, would you?
You even have a guest room. Perfect. This will be our bedroom.
Excuse me, but
What's with these curtains? Awful taste. I'll pick better ones for you, so give me some money.
The yard's spacious too. Maybe I'll start a vegetable garden.
What were they talking about? Confused, I turned to Matt.
Matt, what is?
Be happy, Karen.
When I was about to demand an explanation, June interrupted me, her face filled with triumph.
It's not much of a house, but as a gift to your in-laws, it'll do. If it's a two-family home, we'll move in.
Excuse me?
Naturally, as the daughter-in-law, you'll be doing all the housework. Furthermore, we'll accept a monthly allowance of $1,000 from you.
Huh?
What in the world were they saying? Were those people aliens? Completely baffled, I tilted my head in confusion.
You said the daughter-in-law? I'm single now, though.
Huh?
June's face twisted in surprise. I was just as shocked as she was. Matt, didn't you tell them? Matt shouted he didn't accept the divorce, but that didn't matter. Divorce doesn't require his approval. We were completely unrelated. Upon hearing my words, June turned pale.
What do you mean? Are you saying you're abandoning us, your family?
My family lives in the countryside. I'm thinking of inviting them to live with me soon.
Don't be ridiculous. This house is ours.
No, it's mine.
What was that woman even talking about? That house was bought with my savings, under my name.
Well, where are we supposed to live?
That's not my concern.
Apparently, they had already sold their old house. It seems they'd completed the contract, planning to live off the money from the sale and what they could squeeze out of me, comfortably settling into this house. What a horrifying plan.
Anyway, I won't accept this.
June kept shouting, but her acceptance wasn't required. We were strangers, and this house belonged solely to me.
I won't accept it. Absolutely not.
In her rage, she tore down the curtains.
Hey, what are you doing?
I don't need such tasteless things. This is my house, and I'll do what I want with it.
Exactly. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine. I won't accept this divorce, and my parents and I will live here.
Matt yelled, joining in.
Wow, this is spiraling out of control.
Just as I thought, I heard the sound of sirens. When Matt and his parents barged in, I had quietly called the police. Finally, they arrived.
Hey, what are you doing?
We didn't do anything wrong.
That's right. If you're taking someone, take this woman instead.
The three of them yelled loudly at the police, refusing to back down. Entering someone's house without permission is trespassing, and breaking things is property damage. How could they not understand that? After causing a scene, they weren't arrested but were taken away for questioning. That was a whirlwind of a day. Later, following his release, Matt repeatedly returned to plead for reconciliation but found himself in police custody after each attempt. He had been following me at work, but once I reported the incident to my boss, he received a stern reprimand. Matt's actions, such as stealing my savings and storming my new home, became the talk of the office. He was ostracized by everyone and eventually quit his job. It seems he struggled mentally afterward and found it difficult to secure new employment. June and Greg, with the money from selling their home, moved into the cheap apartment where Matt and I used to live. That was an old, poorly maintained place, so it didn't likely fetch much. The three of them would probably scrape by in that cramped apartment. Finally free from all of that, I am living a peaceful life in my new home. I asked my parents in the countryside if they wanted to move in with me, but they said they weren't ready to leave yet. Thus, for a while, I am enjoying my quiet life alone. Maybe I'd remarry if the right person came along, but for now, I am fine as I am. The yard is spacious too. Maybe I'll start a vegetable garden. I also want to try my hand at gardening and host home parties with friends. Gazing at the blue sky through my window, I make a resolution to live joyfully, embracing all the activities I have previously missed out on.